Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? I am Big Daddy Liberty. You're watching the Big Liberty Show. Are guns dangerous? Hey guys, it's Big Daddy Liberty here, your favorite fat boy. I'm sitting in Gun Portal, a very awesome gun shop here in Somerset West, just outside of Cape Town. Gun Portal is actually owned by Mark, but before I get to the lads, and actually before any of that, you can find their merchandise and actually just have a look at the shop online at gunportal.co.za. We're talking guns today, and all things guns really, in terms of the culture around them, the laws that are restrictive around them. We've got Tim Flack from Gun Owners South Africa, so he'll talk to us about that. But let me not waffle on. Let me welcome the guys to the show, fellas. Hello, hello. And thank you so much for having me, Mark, at Gun Portal. It's
Thanks
awesome
for coming through, man.
Great. Tim, welcome to the show. How are you doing, man?
Good, and you, bud? Thanks for having me.
Awesome, guys. And let me begin with the state, right? Tim, your organization has been fighting the good fight. I mean, there's been a big ruction, a big friction between us as gun owners, legal, responsible gun owners, and what the state has been trying to do insidiously, which is to limit the rights of essentially the good guys, right? You guys have been at the forefront of fighting and pushing back against that, and also engaging in the battle of ideas around for the need for there to be, lesser restrictions on responsible gun ownership. But there's been recent fights between you guys and the Minister of Police in this regard.
Yep.
Talk me through it very briefly, and where are we at the moment?
Well, the biggest fight started about a year ago now, when it was a leaked document for a draft amendment to the Firearms Control Act, and that was where GOSA really took a stand and said this is enough now, and it was decided in that document, and it was written down that they were going to do away with Section 13 as a reason to own a firearm. So you could no longer buy a firearm for self-defense purposes,
Which is ludicrous.
which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
The whole industry went into turmoil about it, and luckily we put a stop to it straight away. Parliament actually got involved and said, look, this hasn't been tabled before us yet, and from that step on we decided we're going to take an active role in stepping into Parliament and actually getting our members out there. I represent GOSA in Parliament. Paul Oxley often flies down to Cape Town, and we actually sit in these police portfolio committee meetings and partake in it, speaking to the MPs afterwards or during the lunch breaks, and engaging in Parliament with them. The biggest fight we've had now is about the firearms amnesty. It's been a long road. We were
just very briefly, what is this firearms amnesty being proposed by the state?
Well, technically, it's not an amnesty, and this is the biggest
Misnomer,
problem I have.
yeah.
An amnesty would be if you've committed a crime with your gun. During this time period, you can go and hand the gun into a police station and not have any questions asked. You can walk out the front door and no one asks anything. You just dump it there and go.
Yeah.
That's an amnesty. What the South African government does when they call it an amnesty is you go and you hand in the firearm, they take your details down, they take your ID number, they take your address, and it gets sent for ballistic testing. If it's found to have been used positively in a crime, then you're prosecuted. So it's not an amnesty. It's
a come forward and let the state know who you are.
Exactly. So every and I'll use the local terms for it. Every server in every ses is not going to come into the police station and go, "Oh yeah, here's my firearm, guys,"
exactly.
and then walk out. Criminals are not going to hand their firearms.
Exactly.
And all it's going to be is your people who are uninformed about it, people who have expired licenses that are being pressured into handing their firearms in, and I need to point out, if you do not want your firearm, there's no law stopping you from walking into a police station and handing it in at any time you want and say, look guys, I don't like shooting this gun, or I don't want it anymore, whatever. The gun shop said they're not even going to buy it from me. Here you go. I want to hand it in for destruction. There's nothing stopping that from happening. But now they want to have this amnesty, and what GOSA believes is, and what we feel, and what's been made very obvious is that if you remember recently we had the interdict
That's right.
granted, saving at the time it was 450,000 licensed firearm owners, or firearm owners whose licenses had expired, from the police taking them in and confiscating them from them and taking them away. And that interim interdict was granted, and we saved a lot of firearm owners from being made into criminals.
That's right.
That number is now sitting at close to probably about 1 million now that we're estimating. And what came up very clearly during this discussions about amnesty in the last 3 meetings with the Police Portfolio Committee is that they are specifically trying to gun for those 450,000 or million firearms. Whereby
legal firearms, by the way.
They're legal firearms because there's an interdict saying that they're legal firearms. They're not illegal. Where they're told that no, you have to hand your firearm in and then reapply for it as a new license. Now that takes 6 months. If there's 1 million of them over a 6-month period, can you imagine? SAPS has already stated that they can't fulfill their constitutional mandate. They've just released an app, and I don't know how they're going to administer that, but how are they going to administer 1 million new applications at one go?
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
And I'm going to bring you in here because, Mark, sorry. Because on this show, we view all issues through a classically liberal lens. Really, we are on the side of freedom and liberty.
Awesome.
And the major argument we often make when it comes to people being accorded the freedom to own guns is, on the one hand, yes, personal protection, especially when you just mentioned, and I'll probably play the clip, that the police commissioner, the former police commissioner, is he still?
It was.
In any event, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about in the clip. Openly said that, hey, look, we're stretched. We are at a point where we cannot fulfill our constitutional mandate. So on the personal level, it's therefore individual citizens being able to look after themselves and being their own self-defenders. Sure. But at a broader level, it's also a protection against a citizenry, a free citizenry, against the overreach of the state, against the creeping hand of the state interfering in people's lives. Because as we've seen in the record of history, which is absolutely crystal clear in this regard, when you disarm a populace, it opens the door to nefarious politicians drunk on power, drunk on ideology, to essentially subdue a society and control and often even hurt people. But aside from the philosophy, the work that then you guys do here at Gun Portal. Remember, you can find all of the stuff at gunportal.co.za. The work that you guys do here is critically important in terms of therefore inculcating that culture of responsible legal gun ownership. Talk me through the shop. When did it start? And what do you guys do here on a day-to-day basis? Who walks in through your shop doors? Is it the crazy, rabid right-winger that we're painted as being as gun owners? Or is it ordinary people, really?
Okay, well, a couple of very good questions and good points. So, Gun Portal was started roughly about 2 years ago.
Yep.
I've myself have been in the firearm industry for quite a while.
Yep.
Safari for a couple of years. Worked at a clay shooting company as well, just to kind of step out of that corporate scene.
Yeah.
Always been into guns, loved it, from a young age. Did a bit of SA clay shooting and whatnot. So that's my background. Shotguns, that go. Here we go.
Click.
But basically it was just time to start something new. I've got a passion for the industry. And it was just time to kind of do things our way, if that makes sense. Kind of bring back that personal touch to the South African gun industry. So what happened was my good friend Carl, he actually owns Gunnery Arms and Ammo. So we are situated inside Gunnery Arms and Ammo here in Somerset West. We work very well together. I think Carl has had the shop for about 4 or 5 years now. It's been a while, growing strong, from strength to strength every year. Thanks to you, Oz. And this
Shout out.
spending on his bucks here with us. But so that's basically how it all started. We kind of just joined forces. I obviously brought with all of my clients and my expertise that I've gathered over the years. And so between the two of us, what we do is we specialize in all things firearm related. One of the very big things that we do here is proficiency training, which is kind of like the front line for a lot of guys when they getting into the gun industry, into the scene for whatever reason. We got a whole bunch of different types of entries into the gun industry.
Yep.
The big one that you mentioned is the whole self-defense thing, which is the only realistic way of safeguarding your safety and your family's safety.
Absolutely.
Is to be your own first responder.
Absolutely.
You can't walk around with a cop in a backpack.
It wouldn't be of much use, given how they shoot sometimes. But anyway, I'm sorry for those of you who do shoot well.
There are a couple of very good ones,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
obviously on the flip side of that, there are a couple of those that need a bit more time in the shooting range.
Yes.
And the ethics classroom. Anyway, so a big thing we do here is the proficiency training. We obviously we sell guns, we sell ammo, we try to keep it personal. So before we just try to, shove something down your throat, you come in for a handgun.
Yeah.
We don't just tell you what we've got in stock. We engage with the guy, we chat to them, find out where they are, where they're looking to go, and what is the best avenue to basically get them through. And I think that is very important in the industry, because we are the first faces that a lot of guys see. It's different for like Tim and myself, and you as well, sitting here, we've got a history in it. We've learned over the years, the industry, the culture, and obviously the actual handling of the firearms and the different products. For a lot of guys, it's not like that. I've spoken to a lot of people lately that I know were vehemently, very, very, very anti-gun. And all of a sudden they're coming in and they're having that conversation with me, because I can speak for I think everyone here. We've either been the victim of violent crime or have a very close family friend or loved one that has. And it's getting to a point now where kind of enough is enough, and the government needs to look at that and first of all acknowledge it, which they have overstretched mandates and whatnot, and they need to start working for the people and not against them. Like you said, it's what needs to happen.
Just as I move to another question, you raised the importance of expertise. No matter how much you think you know about guns, you can always learn more. There's always someone who teaches you more. I'm a classical example of this. I used to be a revolver man. Just my revolver and I'm good. Yeah. And Tim was actually one of the guys. Tim and another chap, can't remember his name right now. And she said, "Hey man, why don't you consider some semis, handguns?" And I was like, But again, it's the point I'm trying to get at is there's always someone who knows something really, really well and is willing to teach. That's the key. And you walk into a gun shop, it isn't just like, "Hey man, here's a gun, walk out and go be somebody."
100%.
Someone will teach you. They'll take the time. Shout out to Kalahari Guns in Gauteng, who I'm a big fan of. Guys who take the time to teach. Absolutely. But let me move the conversation to a point which I think a lot of people miss, because they think it's just about guns. Click, clack, you're about to be a cold hearted killer. It's not even about that, but it's also about preparedness and a mental state, if you will.
100%.
We talk a lot in the gun community, if you will, about a everyday carry, an EDC. What do you mean about that? If I were to ask you guys to empty your pockets, what will we likely see?
Hey, pocket dump.
Let's actually have a look.
Let's do a pocket dump.
Okay,
Wanna go first?
Okay, we can do that.
Go first.
Let's start with the machinery.
Now we get competitions.
Hey man, here we go. So what are we looking at there? Talk us through
So
it.
what we got here is a Smith & Wesson M&P 40 with a Jeff Carter holster that I've had for a while.
Comfortable holster?
It's amazing, man. I've got about 5 or 6 holsters for this particular firearm. This is the one that, excuse the skull came out. That was pretty cool. Got a lot of flack about that.
No pun intended.
Yeah, Tim Flack cannon. Anyway, so look, fantastic pistol. I have recently gone over to Glock, just waiting for that license to come through. There's an extra mag. I got my trusty Leatherman over there.
There we go.
Skeletal CX with the carbon fiber. Quite nice, I like that. And then this is an incredibly important piece of kit. This is I don't know if this is going to bugger up the camera or whatever, but this is an Olight S1R baton.
Why are Olight's important?
You know what? Lighting is very important because it gets dark every single day. And a lot of people ask me, why do I carry a torch during the days? Because you don't know where you're going to be when it gets dark. I was in a shooting incident on the N2 about 4 or 5 months ago. Thank goodness I had that. It was light when I started driving. And this is a very, very, very important piece of kit. So is this. This is an ASP baton. Give it a bit of an extender over there.
And he carries this all on him.
Like, this is not a magic trick, by the way.
Concealed carry. When he's a skinny guy.
It helps.
You can't see he's carrying it.
Push-ups. And then this is now the problem solver. This is
trusty tool, that.
Yeah, this is your CRKT M16 with a Tanto drop point there, and this is for up close and personal work. Yep. Get training on knives before you carry them for defensive purposes. But what else do I have? Wallet, phone. That's about it. I mean, you can
Those
hit
aren't
somebody
the
with software
essentials.
as well.
Tim, if I were to ask you to empty your pockets, what are we going to see?
All right, let's go. I've got my.
By the way, none of them were prepared for this. Like, I literally asked it randomly of them because I wanted to demonstrate the fact that it's not just about a gun. It's about the tools on you that allow you to defend yourself. And actually, as Mark was saying, at times you don't know when an attacker or an assailant is going to come to you, and you kind of have to fight them off hand to hand and earn your draw. But we'll get to that in another video. Tim, sorry, what's in your pocket?
Let's move the AR out of the way quickly.
Yeah.
There we go.
Also, just get that in the shot. Look at that beautiful stag.
AR-15. Hey man.
The AR-15, the choice weapon for your United States citizen.
Go. Defending freedom since. Anyway. Tim, talk to us. What do we have there?
So I've got my CZ75 mag. My firearm takes a CZ75 mag, so I've got an extended +2 shoe on it in my concealed carry holster. That is that one over there.
Let's go like the CZ.
My cell phone, my Huawei P10. Let's see what else I got here. For when I've got an adult fidget spinner for when you need a pointy end. That goes. It's a benchmark paratrooper, 1/4 inch thick blade, bayonet blade, and it's got a glass breaker on it too. So this is just for when I need a stabby, pointy thing.
At this point, let me just freeze things for a second. Tim is an expert knife maker. Like if there is someone who I'd recommend to anybody, if you're looking for a quality knife, Tim is your guy. I'm actually going to put some details, if that's okay with you, Tim. I'll put some details in the descriptor of this video. Tim? Yeah.
Oh, so this has got a little pocket clip. It sits nicely in your pocket. It's nice and thin.
Perfect.
And it's adult fidget spinner.
I might actually pick that up.
Oh, these are really nice actually. I got it 2 days ago actually. So this replaced my Leatherman.
That's pretty sweet.
So I need that. What else have I got? Car keys, obviously.
I should have gone into more depth with mine.
Those things. A tourniquet. So
absolutely important piece of kit. Tim, talk us through it. Why is a tourniquet important to have as a gun owner?
Well, as a gun owner, you've obviously got a gun on you for people that are shooting at you or trying to kill you or something like that. So if you do end up getting hit by a round in the arm or in an extremity that is bleeding profusely, this thing will save your life or someone else's life. There's been incidences even where there was a lady in Durban that was sitting at a taxi rank and a taxi plowed straight into her leg and decapitated her leg at the knee. One of the guys that was in the area, who was a gun owner as well, had a tourniquet on himself. He saved that woman's life by putting the tourniquet on. Obviously, so you get shot over here and you're
above the point of the injury.
Put it above the point of the injury. You pull it nice and tight, and then you twist the windlass on.
That's right.
And you twist it very tight, and it stops the bleeding. This
life-saving equipment. I cannot begin to actually.
People are often freak out. They go, "Yeah, but what if you stop the blood for so long that your leg falls off?" This can go on comfortably for 4 hours.
Absolutely.
Fights.
At the end of the day, I'd rather lose a hand than lose my life.
Absolutely.
So often I know a lot of guys that carry 2 of them on them. They keep them in the car. They keep them all over the house. So this is something that's always there.
Absolutely.
You can save your life and someone else's life.
All right. What else, Tim?
And then I've got my trusty Gerson MC28.
There we go.
There we go. In 9mm. And that is that.
That's beautiful.
Over there. Obviously magazine, and then I carry Ranger Winchester T's 147 grains, and that gets carried in an Edge custom carry holster.
Fellas, there you go. I wanted the viewer to have a sense of, and this you can carry around on you comfortably. And again, it's about buying yourselves options if something were to happen. And God forbid anything happened to anybody. But this is the whole culture. When I talk about gun owning culture, it's not just about the pistol or the gun. It's about your everyday carry. And again, we'll be doing many of these episodes, especially when I talk to more gun owners. It might even be a running feature that I'll have. Well, I'll ask someone, just empty your pockets, let's see what you're carrying. But fellas, as we look to wrap up, just one or two more questions, and about the shop in particular, because I do want people to walk into shops like these, talk to guys, trustworthy guys like you, to also begin to build their everyday carry. Talk to me about how much assistance you guys give in terms of having someone, apply for their license, etc., etc. Do you just sort of like sell them the gun and say whatever, or do you actually assist the guy in the entire process?
It's a very good question, that actually. So what we do here is we specialize in the whole process. So we specialize in the training, in the licensing, in the whole shebang. So I can't really speak for too many other shops. We've been doing our own thing now for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're exposed to. But let's just say you came in through the door today, you know absolutely nothing about guns.
Yeah.
What we'll first do is we'll have a chat to you about, we'll kind of gauge where you are and where your level of understanding is. And we will bring you to a point where it becomes a little bit more, to use the same word again, understandable.
Yeah.
So that, it's not this big fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You kind of know where to start and whatnot. So the first thing is going to be to do your proficiency. So that consists of an open book test which you go do at home, closed book test which you do here actually at this table.
Right.
And then we take you to the range. Our classes are very small. We focus on small classes. We do not have more than 4 students at a time. That I think is the big difference.
Absolutely.
A lot of guys, I'm not hating or bashing anybody's hustle here, but you kind of get thrown, and this happened to me back in the day, you get thrown into a class of 20 people. There's no assistance. You get shown once on the range how to do it, and it's kind of you're like a mass cattle production just getting pushed through. That needs to change, I think. So that's something that like we really have focused on. Being a passion of ours, the whole firearm thing. I think it definitely helps.
And just as I mentioned this one question, and Tim, I'm going to bring you in on this one too. Yeah. The South African gun owner is not, as I mentioned earlier on, the stereotypical old image that we used to be scaremongered.
All Afrikaans men and lesbians.
It's absolutely, it's absolutely opened up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you some images of even ladies, firing guns off. And again, I shouldn't have said even ladies as if it should be a surprise, but it is a surprise to a lot of people because we're sold a false image of who the South African gun owner is. Tim, what have you seen in terms of your membership? Is it diversifying?
Oh wow, it's actually amazing. A lot of the guys that I'm in contact on a regular basis say that they're increasingly, their clientele that's growing on a day-to-day basis is black females.
Yeah.
Lots. I can actually just chip in there.
Yeah.
Plenty of everybody.
Absolutely.
Plenty of everybody's buying guns.
It's a massive resurgence. And South Africa's always had a gun culture, but it's been we've had this idea of being quiet about it. I've got a gun now, keep it quiet. 20 years ago, you'd never see someone going on camera going, "Oh, here's my gun. This is where I keep it." We're proud gun owners. And that's coming out more and more. And I mean, in GOSA's over 50,000 membership now. I mean, we've got a diverse crowd of. At our Girls on Fire shoot that you were at, I mean, you saw black woman, Indian woman in hijab, and it's not just one woman in hijab. There's like 20 women in hijab. It's a massive culture that's growing, and it's fantastic to see.
Guys, as we look to wrap up, and I'll give you guys both the chance just to share how people can reach you.
Yeah.
Just a word from me, guys, I really am appreciative of the work you guys are doing. It's very important, both in terms of how I view the world philosophically, and the idea of preserving our freedoms as a society, but also on a personal level. I've been a victim of crime. I mean, made national headlines when, and I still, in my old cap, as a spokesperson for the social development department, we were held up, believe it or not, by 2 armed men in Nyanga. So now, luckily we had bodyguards who fired back and killed the assailants, but it makes you think when you then drive out of a neighborhood like that, what about the residents who live in that part of the world? And this is why, to me, gun ownership is such a personal issue. It's not about arming, just the enthusiasts. It's also about arming the more vulnerable in our society, the disabled community, if I may use that. I know some PC guys are like, it's not disabled, it's something else. But essentially, the more vulnerable segments of our society, them having the freedom to defend themselves and to say here and no further to any criminal, or here and no further to encroachment by the state. So guys, really kudos to you guys. Tim, Mark, how do we guys reach you guys? Give me your socials and of course the organizations.
All right, cool. You can get hold of GOSA at, we've got multiple email addresses. If you want to get hold of me, you can get hold of me at Flack Cannon, so Flack the word cannon at gosa.co.za. If you want to get hold of our office, you can get hold of admin@gosa.co.za. Then obviously our information, our telephone numbers and stuff like that are freely available online. I won't give my personal cell phone number out, but we're on social media. You can get us on Facebook at GOSA, Gun Owners South Africa. Just ask to join as a member. We'll approve it, and you'll have to ask some questions. We'll ask you to consider joining as a paid member.
And then I really encourage you guys to please do that.
Yeah, our basic membership starts at $100 a month, $100 a year, and it goes all the way up to our diamond membership, which is I think 1,500 rand. I must just double check.
Mark, and of course, how do we reach you, Holmes?
Cool, man. Okay, so like you mentioned earlier, the website gunportal.co.za. It's actually a new website that we almost finished building.
Awesome.
We're moving over from .net to .co.za. It's a little bit more trusted for the older O's. But what you can do, you can contact the shop on 071 744 633. Otherwise, pop us an email at either info or mark@gunportal.co.za. Otherwise, come have a coffee and a chat with us. And not just, if you're looking to get into the thing or whatever, if you've got questions, we're more than happy to answer any questions that you might have and just make you feel a little bit more comfortable.
The coffee is really good as well.
There we go. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on the show. And of course, thank you for watching, guys. Cape Town community, please support your local gun shops. Gun Portal is one of them. I know there are a few others. But I really encourage you to support these. And again, to you, the gun owner, or rather the gun shop owner, hey, invite me to your shop. Let's have a chat, because again, we need to build a sense of a gun community in this country which knows its local gun shop owner and of course engages them for expertise and knowledge and of course products. Guys, support your local gun shops. Thank you for watching, guys. This has been another episode of the Big Liberty Show as we talk all things freedom and defend your freedom against the overreaching hand of commies and socialists. Remember, never trust a commie.